Absolute godsend these things are. If I put it near the glass, you could probably see it better. You can see how it works. They're fantastic. Just turning the polariser until I can see something inside the car. See how that looks. I'll take the polariser off and show you. So I've come out today to a 1940s show. I was here last year and got a few photographs in. This time I've come out with a Kiev 19. Look at this old beauty. This one was actually sent to me by some boys in the Ukraine photographic community. All been serviced, and it's a wonderful camera. So I bought this out, and the bonus with this camera is it's a Nikon F fit, so I can bring some of my Nikon F lenses out with me. Although I've only bought one, which is a 28mm Nikon lens. The other lens I've bought out with me is a 50mm. I'll put a name up of what this lens is because it's in Russian and I can't read it. I've also brought out with me a yellow filter, and I've also brought out with me a polarizing filter as well, just in case I need to get rid of any unwanted reflections on glass or anything like that. The meter works fine in this camera, but just in case, I've brought out a little tiny pocket light meter. I'm using Dragon #1 film, and I've loaded myself 5 rolls of that stuff. Look at that thing. Someone's in the comments going to go, that's a so-and-so and so-and-so, don't you know that? No, not really. So you've got these lunch boxes on the back for the sandwiches, I take it. The weather forecast said it would be quite light and bright and sunny, but it's not. It's quite dull, dreary, wet. I've got a couple of options because I like to get a bit of contrast. So one option is to push the film purposely, to just compress the film a bit and get some perceived contrast in the photographs. By pushing the film, I'm going to be underexposing and overdeveloping. Of course, the overdevelopment's going to bring up my highlights. The underexposure is going to really crush my blacks. Or I could just go and shoot normally and just see what I get. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Just shoot normally at 100 speed, not mess around in the developing, and just take it for what it is.
Proper camera.
Yeah, I'm shooting black and white film, yeah.
You convert not versus black and white. You look better black and white.
1, 2. There you are. Have you got a card or anything? I can send it to you on Instagram or...
I've got an email address.
And I think today I'm just going to come with a mindset of going for unusual compositions, because that way it'll give me some interest when I'm walking around here. I've got something in my mind what I want to do and create, and also it just keep my mind busy throughout the day rather than shooting and snapping whatever moves. You might wonder why I'm using the yellow filter. I did say in a vlog a few weeks back that I'm going to start using the yellow filter more just to see what it does with my photographs, because it's a filter that I don't often use. So by using it constantly, I'll soon get a feel for it rather than using it once or twice. Oh, that's nice. Handlebar, bell, seat. It's a bit brown. It's not. It's a bit brown. There's not much colour to it or reflections or anything, but we'll get in here. So now let's get down on my belly and look up into the sky past the spokes. Back down again, this time with a 28mm f8, 1/25 of a second. Now I've got much wider. I can get really close to these spokes now. I just don't want anything else in 10. And it's kind of be silhouette, I reckon. So I'd rather have a little plan in my mind. So I think that's what I'm going to go with, is just some interesting compositions, and I'll show you a little bit of that as we go along. Look at that Spitfire behind me, can you see that? One of the bonuses about it raining earlier, I got a little bit wet walking up here, but it's quite humid and muggy. But one of the bonuses is I'm going to get droplets on some of the machinery, some of the planes. You can see the bright reflections. The polarizer is going to sort that out for me. So I don't want all that sort of bright highlighty stuff. Although it looks quite nice. Look at them reflections coming off their numbers on the wing there. What a Spitfire, look at this thing. And I'm trying to be mindful of all the things in the background as well, people, cars and stuff. There's a coat there with a, you know, I don't really want that in a shot. That's a shame that's sitting there. Maybe a shallow depth of field, I don't know. Let's get the camera out. So it looks like the sun's going to start coming out, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to get this one more shot with the 50mm lens. I'm trying to get things out in the background. That's about the best I'm going to get here. It was unfortunate that there was those trees in the background, and the other side of the plane there was signs and whatnot. So my aim was simple, to find compositions where I had nothing obscuring the Spitfire. I wanted to have timeless looking photographs, so when I made a print it didn't look modern day, and I had 2 lenses and 2 filters to work with. I took my time and no doubt got some funny looks from people as well. This one I've gone f16 to try and get some sort of silhouette. Let's see if that works. So I'm glad I didn't decide to push that film, because now the sun's come out. That would have really screwed me over for the first few shots. So I'm pleased that I decided to just shoot normal. I had a feeling the sun might come out. So they was with the 50mm, so I'm just going to change over now to the 28mm. There goes a steam train. So I'll change back over to the 28mm, which has got that polarising filter on. Ideal for this because I'm getting some reflections going on. So let's get those. Yeah, oh, unfortunately, it's really hard trying to get the things out of the background. So for this one, I'm going to get right down my back. Get right up on these blades here. Let's try and get straight on with it. F8 on 25th. Yeah, I can't get wide enough, but not the shot I wanted. So that's it, I'm done with the Spitfire. I took quite a few shots and I've literally just been winging the metering, looking up and thinking in my head what it should be, so hopefully they come out. This does have a light meter inside, but I haven't been looking at it. Let's see what else I can find. So on my mission for compositions, and with the light coming in and out, I kept mostly to f11 and f8 at 1/25 of a second, and I knew that that would be fine, especially with most subjects being dark, like this motorcycle. And in the edit I noticed the look on this woman's face. Little did she know I was trying to compose the handlebar, mirror and the trailer window in the background. In the end it appeared that nothing surprised them with the local weirdo photographer getting his angles, but at least I wasn't walking around paranoid of smelly farts. Let me get the photograph please. Hang on. Thank you, cheers. Get your photograph in there, sir. You look real casual the way you're sitting. Hang on. Okay. Thank you very much. So far, I've got some really nice compositions. My main objective was to find subjects and work around it so I could eliminate the background, which was really tricky, as are most of these sort of shows. And then to work with the light and the filters that I've got, just observing how the light hits certain parts of the subject and how the polarising filter would change that to how I thought it would look best. And this was probably my favourite of the Spitfire. I just liked the way that I was over the wing and it had nice light reflecting on it, and there was this leading line taking you toward the propeller. And there's also a little bit of barbed wire you notice in the top corner. I purposely kept that in the frame. And another similar photograph here with the tail of the plane taking much of the frame and again leading your eye towards the propeller. It's just unfortunate that you can see a little bit of tree in the background in this photograph. And this is my other favourite one, which is straight on. I waited for a while for the people to clear in the background just so that I had the tents in the background, and that was it. And again, a little bit of barbed wire here, giving it that sort of wartime look. Ideally, I would like to have got the tip of the wing in the frame, but it wasn't possible for keeping the background clean. And you'll notice that some of these photographs are a bit on the high contrast side, and I'll tell you a bit more about that later in the video. This is pretty cool, look at this. Unfortunately I've got this car here so I can't get back far, but you've got one wheel and another wheel there. That might make a nice composition, but I'll have to get out on a 28mm lens. I just took a couple of photographs of people. There was some guy with a gas mask. I was walking past, I thought I've got to get his photograph because I might miss him later on. And then I was walking past this old bus and there was a bus driver sitting there casually like this. As I walked past I thought I've got to get his photograph as well. So sometimes you've got to come off plan and grab what you can, I suppose. I didn't want to miss them, but a part of my plan today is people as well, so that's why I did that. So let's change to the 28mm and we'll see what composition I can lay off with these two wheels here. I've still got the polariser on this, which is okay, but I don't know how I'm going to compose this one. That looks weird, coming down on it. So I'm just walking around looking through the viewfinder. I've got a lot of composition experience through 20 or so years of videography and filming. and that teaches you a lot about composition when you're using video cameras and film cameras, not these film cameras, and it teaches you a lot about composition, which you bring into the photography world as well. So although I'm looking through here, the viewfinder as I'm walking around, just the same way as I would a video camera. This is difficult. I found it. I found the composition I've tucked away down here. It's not working. You can see what I'm trying to get straight on with those two wheels. It looked pretty good, and I was tucked in down there, but I just could not get what I wanted. Maybe there's some scope there, something like that. Just come on my belly. I'll come down and do it. That looks much better. I've got a big tyre. Got the rest of that truck in the background. I knew that there was something in this car with the two white wall wheels, and I had to be mindful of my reflection in the wheel hub, but moreover I wanted to make use of the wheel arch, and above the truck was background noise, so I didn't want that. I couldn't get back far enough to get straight on with the wheels, which I would have liked, so in the end I decided to use the other vehicle as leverage, using its wheel to keep continuity, and a bit of the headlight and wing mirror as well. And you'll notice how the light falls on that tyre. That was another plus for me in this composition, and I think it worked out well, or at least the best I could do in such a small confined space. I'll take the GoPro off and show you guys roughly what I was seeing there. So I was kind of down here looking up. You can see where I was, down here looking up and trying to make sure that I got the tyre in, a little bit of the wing mirror, whatever that is up there, the mirror, and some of the cab as well, and the wheels. But again, I don't know. I don't know how much view I've got inside the viewfinder as to what I'm getting on the film. So we'll soon see. This is where a polariser filter is really handy at these sort of shows. I want to get a shot so I can see this mirror and I can see the interior of this old truck. And I'm getting reflections, but the polariser is going to totally take them reflections out. I'll try and take the polariser off in a second, put it on the GoPro and twist it and see if it works on the GoPro. But let me get my photograph first. So, I'm going to go portrait on this. So I've got a little bit of the wing mirror and some of the interior of the car. Again, just trying to get as much as I can out of the background. 5.6, I'm going to go to f4 on this. Hopefully that might get that interior. Might have to go 2.8, I think. Just turning the polarizer until I can see something inside the car. I've got it there. That's a nice composition. Landscape, wing mirror, focus. See how that looks. I'll take the polarizer off and show you. I'll put the polarizer in front. You can see that reflection on the glass there. I'll bring the polarizer in. I'll turn the polarizer. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. So that's what I'm getting normally. And with the polarizer, as I twist it, all I'm doing is twisting it like this. So that's normal. If I twist it around, you can see that reflection starting to disappear. You see? Absolute godsend these things are. Running around this event taking photos, you have to stop to admire the people that make it all so imaginative. They really do put their all into bringing the 1940s into this area for 2 days, putting on their displays, dressing up and bringing their vehicles and backdrops. It must take a lot of dedication and time, especially the Spitfire. So anyone watching this video that was a part of this event, I just want to say thank you and well done. I think I've covered about 20 odd photos so far, but it's nice to walk around with a plan, a composition plan that I've got, just trying to get interesting compositions. Has made me think more about what I want for my photographs. And you saw me getting down on my belly and on my back, and I don't know how many more years I've got left in me in doing that. I'm going to get over in a moment and try and get some portraits in of people. So walk around, see someone that looks really great, compliment them and take a photograph. That'll be on the 50mm lens. I'm going to finish this film on compositions. I'll show you the rest of the photographs that I get, but I'm going to put the GoPro down for now and have a bit of me time. One, two. There you are. Have you got a card or anything? I can send it to you or Instagram or...
I've got an email address.
Excuse me, sir. Give us a smile. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. Yes.
You want one with me on the gun?
If you like, yeah, why not? Ready? Gotcha. Thank you. Just look up this way. Oh, that's it. Perfect on the side there. Just on the side.
Looking serious or?
We got it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Might I take a photograph of you both, please, if you don't mind? You could, madam, your bra's just showing a little bit. That's all. So, I'll have this gentleman looking into the boot, and you, madam, can be looking at the gentleman. All right? Hang on. I think I'm in it right. Yeah. Okay. Good there. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. Your photograph. Where's that light coming from? Just want to look at the light a sec. Over this way. That's it. Perfect. Oh, I like the sausages.
They're very nice. They're a bit woolly now, though. A bit woolly, the sausages.
Straight into this lens, bud. Thank you. We'll get a shot of you two ladies if you don't mind, while you're looking all casual. Thank you very much. Yes.
I didn't realise you were let down.
Just bring your tape measure up a little bit, sort of as though you're going to measure me or something. Are you ready? Thank you very much. Cheers.
Conscientious objector.
Yeah, there we go.
Fifth columnist, it's got a parachute. Yes.
It's moving around a lot. There we go.
Clearly not an Englishman, he's not wearing a hat anymore.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Whew, so I've come to sit down for a little while. That's pretty much what I do when I'm taking photographs of people. Give them a compliment, they love it. You know, treat people with respect. Call them sir, madam, or whatever. If they're an older generation, if they're younger, choose different slang, I suppose. Fella, geezer, whatever. It's a similar approach that I use in street photography. If I see someone that's looking quirky, that's just put the extra effort in, then they're worth having a photograph, you know, taken. But just treat them with a bit of courteous. Before you go running up and snapping a photograph, just ask if it's okay. If you don't mind, do you mind if I take a photograph of you? You look fantastic, or your hat's amazing, or I love your scarf or coat, or whatever. They love the compliment. Generally, 9 times out of 10, they won't mind you taking their photograph, especially at a place like this. But it's nice to get people in your album, you know, in your negative collection. And only bog standard stuff. I decided to keep with a 50mm lens and a yellow filter, and just bog standard stuff. Just getting some faces into my camera. So it's the next day and I'm in my dark room, and in fact it's not the next day, it's 2 days later. I'm in my dark room and I want to make a print of one of those bloody flight negatives. And I did say earlier on in the video, there goes my phone and there goes my watch. I did say earlier on in the video that the negatives did look a little bit contrasty. You'd be right, that was hard to control without a light meter, and I didn't want to use the meter inside the camera. I didn't want to keep looking through, and because it's quite hard to see that meter inside the camera, so I didn't want to rely on that. And I certainly wasn't going to bring out a handheld meter or the little tiny TT Artisan one that you saw every 2 seconds. The sun was just coming in and out, the light was changing continuously, so I just thought, go with your gut instinct and shoot whatever you feel is best. Otherwise, I would have been wasting so much time with metering, and by the time I got my right reading, the bleating sun would have come out or it would have gone back in again. So I didn't bother. I just thought, I'm going to wing it and go with what I thought best. And I knew that some of my shots would be overexposed, some would be slightly underexposed. I tried to keep away from the underexposed, and if anything, go overexposed. But and also on side of precaution, when I came back, I overdeveloped in the 510 Pyro just by about a minute or so, about 2 minutes, because I thought if there are any underexposed ones, that's going to help them out a little bit. So just something in my mind, but the negatives come out really nice, and I've got printable negs, which is the main thing, albeit a little bit contrasty. But I think that film is a little bit on the contrasty side anyway. And what about the polarizing filter? Now that polarizing filter, that worked perfectly, and I love taking polarizing filters to those sort of events at car shows and stuff, because there's so much glass. It is such a useful filter to get through reflections and, you know, get your own reflection out of shiny car bodies or whatever you're taking photographs of, if there's reflections on it. So it's, you know, I find it a must-have for me to take to these sort of shows. But the yellow filter that I've been trying to get on with recently, and I've been shooting it quite a lot, this show really showed me, this show taught me one thing, is I'm not too keen on the yellow filter. I was taking them portraits, and when I looked at the negatives, I noticed a lot of the skin tones were lighter than I would have liked. I like to get detail in the skin tones. I like to get a bit of, if there's shadows there, I like to just get a bit of contrast and a bit of grit in some of those portraits. And it wasn't happening. When I looked at the negatives, I thought, why? And then I realised, I thought I had the yellow filter on. This is what's going to happen with that particular film anyway, with my portraits. So a little, you know, learning curve there with using the yellow filter. So I think I've been shooting it now for about 3 or 4 weeks continuously on my 35mm cameras with a 52mm thread on the lens, and I think I'm going to take it off and go back to how I used to shoot without a filter. Some people like using yellow filter, others just don't bother, like myself. For me personally, any of my scapes and stuff like that, it's always going to be an orange or a red. So I'll keep the filter obviously in my bag. It might be useful for certain things, but for that show, I didn't need it on, but it was good to shoot it and see what I got just for the experience of it. And although I've been shooting film for many, many years, I've never really used a yellow filter as a rule of thumb. So that's probably why. So I'm going to make a print. Guys who follow me on YouTube member area and also Patreons of the channel, I'm going to be putting this darkroom session on there. This video's already gone on long enough, so I'm going to be putting the darkroom session out there for members and also Patreons as well. And I'll show you guys on the channel the print that I'm going to make. And I've got a nice frame for it as well. I've seen one negative that I like. I think you guys know which one it is. I'm going to get it printed now, and I'll show you afterwards. It's going to be a tricky one to do. You can see how dense it is. There is detail there. I can see it. I don't know how well it's coming out on your screens, whatever you're watching this on. I've got detail there, but a little bit of tinkering around with contrast filters and a bit of dodging and burning to make this look right. But if I can get it look right on paper, I think it's going to make a really nice print. About to see the wing now. See how bright that is. So I have to do some jiggery pokery in the darkroom. So that was quite a tricky print to make. This is the one that I was working on. I'm trying to get the reflections off of it, but I love the photograph. I love the composition and the tones in it as well. All right, it's a little bit, we know, a little bit dense on the negative. That doesn't matter to me. I'm going to frame this because I like it. I could have chose any one of those negatives. This is the one that I liked. And I decided to make a print of it. So, and I also went, this is 12 by 16 Kentmere VC Select paper, and I've also got expired Kentmere fibre, excuse me, fibre paper, which is probably, I don't know, expired by maybe 10 years or so. And I like expired paper. You can sometimes get a really sort of interesting vintage looking effect on your print. So here it is here. It's been flattening overnight, and I've got it flat. If I put them up side by side, you can see how cool this one looks and how sort of warm this one looks. So this is the one I'm actually going to frame because I think it looks retro. I think it looks older, if you like. So that's the one that I'm going to be framing. Don't forget, I was going for that sort of look anyway. That's trying to clear all the clutter out of the background so that you know, have this timeless photograph. So this one certainly does look timeless. But that's the one I'm going to frame. Let's I'll frame that there, I'll show you guys what it looks like framed. But I had to do quite a bit of work under the enlarger. It would have been so much easier if I just took the scan that I did and inkjet printed that, which I could do, it doesn't matter. But being in the darkroom, it was quite a bit tricky, especially with this one being older paper. It took ages for the light to absorb into this paper from the enlarger. But I got there in the end. Lots of burning in on the wing area here, dodging over on the fuselage, and also trying to burn a little bit of the sky in. And the most important part is I don't want the actual photograph to be the sky to be the same whiteness as the paper, because then there would be no border. But with this you can see the border, so all the density is there. But let's get this one framed up. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Don't usually go this big on a 35mm. Medium format would have given much more detail, but you can't even tell. Once this is on the wall, who's going to be looking up close? But even if you did, you can't see any grain or nothing like that on it. It's not broken up. It's actually handled really well. I think that's come out really well. I also selenium toned it too, as well, just for, you know, the archival prosperity of it all. I've selenium toned it too, so hopefully that will last many years. And that's the thing, if you ever find expired paper, don't think to yourselves, oh, it's rubbish. Sometimes you can get some really interesting looks with it. I could have had a choice of putting the fresh paper in, but I went for the expired just because it looks a little bit old and a little bit different. And I think it's come out really nice. What do you guys think? Get those reflections off. Yeah. I threw the yellow filter in the bin. I didn't like the tones that were on my skin.